The neural geometry of belief, reshaping your brain to access hidden dimensions. Most people believe their thoughts belong to them, but beneath every decision, every fear, and every desire exists an invisible architecture programmed into the brain long before awareness awakens. Your beliefs are not simply ideas. They are neurological prisons built from repeated electrical patterns firing through your nervous system. The longer these patterns repeat, the more solid reality appears. And eventually, consciousness forgets it was ever capable of perceiving anything beyond the walls of its own conditioning. The human brain arrives unfinished. Every word spoken around you begins constructing the geometry of your perception. This is possible. That is impossible. Be afraid. Stay small. Every repeated experience hardwires itself into neural tissue until assumptions become biological law. Over time, the brain stops questioning reality and starts defending its model of reality. What you call identity is often nothing more than a deeply reinforced survival algorithm running endlessly beneath conscious awareness. Beliefs do not merely influence perception, they filter existence itself. The brain deletes information it cannot fit into its established architecture. Infinite signals pass through your environment every second, but consciousness only decodes what neural patterns permit it to see. Hidden dimensions may already surround you now, unnoticed only because your biological receiver has been conditioned to reject frequencies that contradict its familiar map of reality. Every repeated thought strengthens synaptic efficiency. The brain becomes faster at repeating familiar interpretations while resisting new ones. This efficiency creates psychological comfort, but also neurological imprisonment. The mind begins mistaking repetition for truth. Eventually, unfamiliar possibilities trigger discomfort because they threaten the stability of the brain's internal structure. This resistance is not philosophical, it is physical. Your nervous system literally defends the reality it has memorized. Transformation begins the moment contradictory information enters the system. Cognitive dissonance is not weakness. It is the neurological friction required for evolution. When the brain encounters realities that challenge its existing model, neural instability emerges. Most people retreat during this discomfort and return to familiar patterns. But those who remain inside the tension long enough begin restructuring the architecture of perception itself. Neuroplasticity allows the brain to physically reshape itself throughout life. Every focused thought, repeated emotion, and intentional experience alters synaptic connections. What was once impossible to perceive slowly becomes natural. The brain starts opening pathways previously dormant for years. Consciousness expands not through magic, but through biological adaptation. The impossible becomes visible only after the nervous system learns how to decode it. Fear exists to preserve the known. Whenever consciousness approaches unexplored dimensions of perception, the survival brain interprets uncertainty as danger. Anxiety rises, doubt intensifies, reality appears unstable. But this psychological turbulence is often evidence that deeper layers of awareness are beginning to emerge. The old identity fights for survival because it senses its control weakening. Reality may not be random at all. Beneath visible matter exists a hidden geometric intelligence connecting consciousness to the fabric of the universe itself. Ancient civilizations hinted at this through sacred symbols, long before modern neuroscience understood pattern recognition. The awakened brain begins detecting relationships and synchronicities invisible to conditioned perception. What once seemed coincidence starts revealing intentional design. Human societies operate through shared agreements about reality. These collective belief systems create powerful neurological conformity. The moment someone perceives beyond consensus programming, isolation often follows. But truth has never depended on majority approval. Entire civilizations can inherit illusions so deeply embedded that they become culturally invisible. Awakening frequently begins where social conditioning ends. Beyond conditioned perception lies uncertainty. The ego fears this emptiness because it cannot control what it cannot define. Yet the unknown is not absence. It is infinite potential waiting for interpretation. The brain must release rigid certainty before consciousness can interact with realities beyond ordinary sensory limitations. Expansion requires surrender. Emotion is not separate from perception. Every emotional state alters the brain's frequency of interpretation. Fear narrows awareness towards survival. Curiosity expands neural receptivity. Awe activates regions associated with pattern integration and higher-order cognition. The emotional body acts as a tuning mechanism for consciousness itself. Change your emotional frequency, and the architecture of reality begins changing with it. Conscious attention influences neurological reality more deeply than most people realize. What the brain repeatedly focuses on strengthens physically within neural circuitry. Attention is biological energy allocation. The observer does not merely witness reality. The observer participates in shaping the interpretation of reality through selective reinforcement. Consciousness may be less passive than we have been taught to believe. The brain constantly references the past to predict the future. Trauma, disappointment, and fear create reinforced neural loops that trap consciousness inside recycled experiences. Many people are not living in present reality at all. They are living inside remembered interpretations projected endlessly forward. Liberation begins when awareness recognizes memory is not destiny. The nervous system possesses extraordinary regenerative potential. New thoughts create new pathways. New experiences generate new maps of reality. The brain can evolve beyond limitation at any age if repetition and emotional intensity align with intentional transformation. Biological identity is far more flexible than society has conditioned us to believe. What appears solid may only be slowed. Vibration interpreted by sensory systems evolved for survival, not truth. The awakened mind begins perceiving patterns beneath physical appearances. Matter becomes movement. Identity becomes energy. Separation becomes illusion. As perception expands, reality itself appears increasingly fluid and interconnected. There comes a moment when old perception can no longer contain expanding awareness. The nervous system reaches a threshold where consciousness either retreats into familiar illusion or crosses permanently into deeper perception. This transition often feels like chaos because the brain is reorganizing itself around entirely new possibilities. Every belief system generates a different interpretation of reality. In this sense, humans already inhabit parallel worlds shaped by neurological expectation. Two people can experience the same event while perceiving entirely different realities because their brains decode existence through different internal maps. Consciousness may navigate dimensions not by movement through space, but through shifts in interpretation. Modern systems thrive on predictable minds. Repetition, distraction, and fear maintain neurological compliance. But awareness disrupts unconscious programming. The moment you observe your conditioned patterns clearly, you weaken their automatic control. Consciousness becomes dangerous to systems built on unconscious repetition because awakened perception cannot easily be manipulated. Perhaps consciousness was never isolated at all. The human brain may function less like a creator of awareness and more like a receiver decoding vast fields of information already present throughout the cosmos. When neural resistance dissolves, deeper frequencies become accessible. Inspiration, intuition, synchronicity, and transcendence may be signals from dimensions consciousness was always capable of accessing. Reality changes when perception changes because interpretation directs action, emotion, and biological response. A transformed nervous system generates transformed experiences. The external world begins reflecting the internal architecture of belief. This is not fantasy, it is the profound feedback loop between consciousness, biology, and lived reality. The ego fears expansion because it survives through separation. It defines identity through limitation, labels, and boundaries. But deeper consciousness recognizes the self as part of something immeasurably larger. Awakening does not destroy individuality. It dissolves the illusion of isolation. The mind stops asking, "Who am I?" and begins asking, "What am I connected to?" Human consciousness may represent only a fraction of what awareness is truly capable of perceiving. The brain filters infinity into manageable fragments so survival remains possible. But beneath ordinary cognition exists vast, untapped potential waiting to emerge. Hidden dimensions may not exist somewhere far away. They may exist beyond the limits of conditioned interpretation. As perception expands, reality often begins responding with extraordinary patterns. Synchronicities emerge when consciousness aligns with deeper structures hidden beneath ordinary awareness. These moments feel impossible because the conditioned mind expects randomness. But perhaps existence has always been communicating through symbols, timing, and resonance. The awakened brain finally notices what was previously filtered out. Every transformed mind contributes to collective evolution. As neural patterns shift individually, collective consciousness begins reorganizing globally. New ideas spread. Old systems weaken. Humanity slowly approaches a threshold where expanded perception becomes normalized instead of feared. Evolution may no longer be purely biological. It may now be neurological and conscious. What if reality is not fixed, but rendered through perception? What if the universe responds dynamically to consciousness itself? The deeper the brain evolves, the more existence appears participatory rather than mechanical. The observer and the observed begin dissolving into a single interconnected process, unfolding across dimensions beyond ordinary comprehension. Transformation demands sacrifice. The old identity cannot follow where expanded consciousness is going. Every limiting belief dissolved creates space for realities previously inaccessible to awareness. The brain becomes less a prison and more a gateway. Fear fades, curiosity expands, perception opens. Perhaps humanity has never truly been alone. Advanced forms of consciousness may exist beyond ordinary sensory bandwidth, waiting for perception to evolve enough to recognize them. Hidden realities do not require invention, they require attunement. The universe may already be filled with intelligence our current neural architecture simply cannot yet decode consistently. Awakening spreads through resonance. Every expanded consciousness influences the field around it. Thoughts, emotions, and perception ripple outward through invisible networks connecting humanity far more deeply than understood. The future may belong not to technological evolution alone, but to the expansion of consciousness itself. The fully awakened mind no longer perceives reality as fixed objects separated in space and time. It perceives dynamic, interconnected processes unfolding across multiple dimensions simultaneously. Consciousness becomes fluid, adaptive, and profoundly expansive. The universe transforms from a closed system into an infinite living mystery. The greatest hidden dimension may not exist somewhere beyond humanity. It may exist within the dormant potential of the human mind itself. Every belief dissolved opens another doorway. Every fear transcended expands perception further. The neural geometry of belief is not permanent. it can be rewritten. And when enough minds awaken to this truth, humanity may finally begin perceiving the vast cosmic reality it was always born to inherit.